Using visual elements like an image is a great way to spruce up your post or page content. First, I'd like to start by explaining some important things about images, and then we'll actually go to your WordPress dashboard and work with some. There are two main things I want to address when using images for your blog. First, where to get those images, and next, optimizing your images for search engines. So, where are you going to get your images? Obviously, the first place is using your own. That really is ideal. But sometimes you just don't have a good image to use, so you may want to use what is known as stock images. Now, there are several places you can get stock images, some free and some you have to pay for. The main difference is that if you pay for the images at a place like Shutterstock or Deposit Photos, you're not as likely to see many copies of them floating around on other blogs. If you use some of the more popular free internet repositories, you're likely to run into them a bit more. My two favorites are Pixabay and Unsplash. So this is Pixabay. Let's just type in woman running and see what comes up. Okay, up here at the top it says sponsored images, Shutterstock. Shutterstock was one of the paid ones I told you about, so if you clicked on any of these, it would take you over to that site where you would create an account and actually purchase them. Below that are the free images. It tells you that there's 286 images. You could pick any of these. Oh, I like this one. It looks like a Tough Mudder, and that was in our article, right? But we didn't have any photos. So when you get there, you see it has a Pixabay license, and it says free for commercial use, no attribute required. It does actually tell you who uploaded them and how many images they have. So you can just go free download. For a blog, you're not going to be printing these images. They're going to be viewed on a mobile device or on a computer screen. So I picked the smaller image size. You could pick the second one up if you didn't feel as comfortable with the smaller one. And download. And it just saved it to my downloads. Now this is Unsplash. I find that the search doesn't always work as well when you're using more than one word. So if this doesn't work, we could always just do running. Well, it actually does. And see how many more there are? You see, these aren't running, they're woman. So you might just change it to running. But I actually like this one right here. Now, the great thing about this also is that it will show you who took it. It'll show you related photos. Let's go download free. Actually, it tells you where it was taken, which is also very interesting. And then if you download free, it says crediting isn't required, but it is appreciated and allows photographers to gain exposure. So this is an example where you might actually use a caption, and you could just copy it right here. Or it'll give you a credit badge that you could embed, and that's what it would look like right there. Now let's discuss optimizing your images for search engines and user experience. Every blogging expert will tell you that images help increase engagement. However, what they don't tell you is that not optimizing your images for the web can slow down your site. One study showed that 53% of mobile users will abandon a website that takes more than 3 seconds to load. And I gotta say, I'm one of those people. The best way to optimize images is by editing them on your computer using photo editing software before you upload them to your WordPress site. This allows you to choose the right file format to create a small file size. Now you might wonder, why would I want to use a smaller file size? Even if you're using just a smartphone, they can create very large file sizes. And that's great if you want to print them, if you want to make a big 11 by 14 or larger to put up on your wall at home. But on your website, you don't need that large of an image. And by having one that's large, it just really slows down your site. In the third module of this course, there's a lesson, Easy Graphic Design, and I'm going to show you how to use a free program to optimize your images. But let's hold that thought for just a few minutes. because you can also use an image compression plugin for WordPress. These image optimizer plugins allow you to automatically reduce the file size while uploading an image to WordPress. And the one that I recommend is Resmush It, and it's a free plugin. I'll show you how it works. So if you come over here to plugins, you can add new and look for one called Resmush It. Now, if you'll see mine, it says active right here instead of install now. That's because I already have it. So when you go, you probably don't have it yet. It'll say install now, and you'll click that. And then it'll say activate, and you'll click that. After that, it will actually be listed under your installed plugins. So you'll come down here, and if it doesn't say activate underneath it, like this one, you'll click activate. Now, once you've done that, if you come up here to media, you'll see you have library, add new, and now Resmush It. When you click on Resmush It, it's going to say optimize unsmushed pictures. There are currently 57 non-optimized pictures. In just one moment, we're going to go ahead and click optimize all those. But first we want to come over here. The default value is 92 for image quality. I just leave it there. Optimize on upload, so in the future anything you upload will be optimized, and you can also get statistics, and only developers really need the logs. So if you made any changes here, click Save Changes. Otherwise, just come over here and optimize all pictures, and it's just going to take a little while, so you just need to wait. While we're waiting for that, I want to show you something else. This is an example. This is the 92% optimization factor, and this is 75%. So you could actually go down lower if you're planning on uploading a lot of images, and I can't see a difference. Can you? The difference, like I said before, is in print quality, and no one is printing from your website, or at least they shouldn't be, right? When it's finished, you get this congratulations message. Now, if we come over here and click on library, the default view is this little grid view. But if we click on list, you'll see a list of all of your images. And now that we have this plugin, you can see you can disable it for certain images if you, for some reason, wanted them to be larger. And here you could, here you see the status that they've been reduced by how much percent it's actually saved. So it's actually a good amount. If you wanted to edit any of these images right here, or even delete them, you can edit, you can view, you can delete permanently. Once you have your images and you're ready to upload them to your website, when you do, there will be some information to add about them. So when you're uploading to your media library, that's what this screen shows. If you look over on the right-hand side, there are some attributes that you need to complete. Alt text is the most important. Alt text, or alternative text, is an HTML attribute added to the image tag, which is used to display images on a web page. It allows website owners to describe the image in plain text. The main purpose of the alternative text is to improve accessibility by enabling screen readers to read out the alt text to visually impaired users. Alt text is also crucial for image SEO. It helps search engines understand the context of the image. Modern search engines can recognize an image and its content by using artificial intelligence. However, they still rely on website owners to describe the image in their own words. Google Image Search, which helps users understand the image and improves your chances of getting more visitors, also relies on this. Next is the title. This is used internally by WordPress for media search. So use a title that is something that you would think of that you might search on later. So if you want to reuse an image, you can find it without having to scroll through potentially hundreds of images. Caption. This is something that would be visible below your image. So it's used to describe the image for all of your audience. I use this, for example, if I have a guest blog post or someone who's providing an image to me and I want to give them photo credit. Last is the description. This displays text on an image attachment page. I just put a basic description here, but really you should disable attachment pages. WordPress creates a page for all images that you upload into your media gallery. And this page just shows a larger version of the actual image and nothing else. These attachment pages can also have negative SEO impact on your search engine rankings. Search engines consider pages with little to no text as low quality or what they call thin content. So again, we recommend that you disable the attachment pages on your website. And the easiest way to do this is just by installing and activating the Yoast SEO plugin that I already told you about. Upon activation, it automatically turns off attachment URLs. So let's go to our WordPress dashboard and look at some examples. So now that we're back in our dashboard, we're going to go back to a blog post. This will be the same process whether it's a post or whether it's a page. So this was our draft from before. Let's go in and add another image. Say we want to add one here with training. So we could do add a block there, or we could just click this add image. And there's 3 ways to put images into your post. Either with upload, where it's going to have us pick one from our computer, insert from URL, or media library. With media library, you can pick one that is already in your media library, or you could also put upload. I prefer to go to this upload versus the other one because it's going to upload it directly into your media library and allow us to edit those attributes that we talked about before. So you can drag and drop, or you can select a file. I'm just going to drag and drop. Now here are the areas we talked about. First is the alt text. Describe the purpose of the image. Leave empty if it's purely decorative. Here you can click on this and it actually takes you to a web accessibility tutorial, and it's an alt text decision tree. And so basically it asks you, like, does the image contain text? If no, continue. If yes, you might use an empty alt attribute. But no, we'll say no. In our case, no. Is the image used in a link or button? It would be hard or impossible to understand what the link or button does if it wasn't there. If no, continue, because it wasn't a link or button. Does the image contribute meaning to the current page or context? I would say yes, and it's a simple graphic or photograph. So just use a brief description of the image in a way that conveys meaning in the alt attribute. So that's what I'll do here. I will say, woman running near water. The title was automatically whatever the title was from my computer. You can leave that name or you can change it. I have a regular format that I use, so I'll just share that, and then it helps me when I'm searching for images in my media library later. So I just call it woman, and then I always use a dash in between the words running. Now caption would be if you wanted to put a caption underneath it. I do that like if I'm doing a guest post and people have provided images, I'll put image provided by and the person's name to give them credit for it. You might want to actually just put something down there to give more context to it in your blog post. That's totally up to you, but if you use caption, it will actually show below the image in the blog post. You can always put it there, go take a look at it in the post, and if you don't like it, come back and take it out. Description, we already said that right now description is not very important to SEO. I go ahead and put it in because what if things change later? I don't want to come back and have to do all of these again. So I'm just, for a description, going to put it's an image of a woman running next to water. Now this is the Resmush It optimizer that we have. Also notice that this image is a JPEG, and that's a smaller file size, which is going to help my websites load faster. So now I'm going to select, and the image is in there. If you remember before, from the last lesson when we added these images, you see we didn't fill any of this information in. So one way to do it is to go right here and hit Edit Image, and now it takes us to our media gallery. Okay, so this one is a collage of 5K races. Okay, and so I'm going to call it race collage. And in the description, again, I'm going to say image collage of 3 races. Now, another way, if you wanted to edit images that you've uploaded and you didn't want to have to go into the post to do it, you could always go to your media library. So let me save this draft and come over here to the media library. So this was one that we had in that blog post, and you notice it was just called success in my computer. But again, if I was searching for an image of somebody crossing the finish line at a race, success might not be what I would be searching on. So I'm going to call it race finish. That's the title. Here's the alt text. I'm not going to have a caption. And then in the description, it will be okay. And then I update. So that's another way to edit media. If you already have images in your library and you didn't follow the naming conventions, you could go through here and edit them that way.